5v5 unless you can get really an incredible shockwave here from CLG. So I do think you're going to be very happy coming out of the draft here as Immortals.
Yeah, there's a few small points that I do like. Cassiopeia, if you can shockwave her, no one escapes, that can look pretty good. Trundle can at least block out bullet time, or not Trundle, sorry, braum can block out bullet time. So there are some small things CLG can have, but I tend to agree. I do like the Immortals 5-on-5, especially when you shred through that tank, and Xmithie is going to be nearly invincible. Yeah,
exactly. One of the things that you can really do with Trundle, if you have a composition that is actually going to win front-to-back team fighting, you obviously are ulting their front line, and then you actually just pillar out the DPS in the back line. So you'd actually just throw your pillar at the Orianna, try to keep her away from getting to your back line, slow down that damage, and allow your backline DPS to have free access to their tanks while theirs doesn't have free access to you. Can be quite effective, but we will see if CLG can make a liar out of me and try to pull something off here.
Yeah, gonna be a fun one to watch. Absolutely. Pobelter, his 4th game back on Counter Logic Gaming ever since winning that championship back about 4 or 5 years ago. It was a big run when he did it back then. He's back on the roster and is already shaping up their win rate. Took down TSM yesterday, has Immortals to play today. It's gonna be really exciting to watch out what they can do. If Immortals, though, can move up to a tie for 3rd themselves. 6 wins is 3rd place right now. And Immortals, all I have to do is take down CLG to get there themselves.
Yeah, well, another thing working here for CLG is that they did have counterpick for mid lane. Now, I talked about how Pobelter has been having really good laning phases thus far this split, and he does have the counterpick into Cassio. You can outrange Cassiopeia, and you really can get preferential trades as a result.
Oh, we got some inside info from CLG's camp. Ovely, take it away.
Thanks, guys. I've got Weldon with me. Biggest question for CLG, coming off of a huge win against TSM. How are you guys going to keep the momentum rolling into this game against Immortals?
I think yesterday we didn't. We had a pretty stable early game, so we got to play a very comfortable game, and I think that's the priority today is to try to not mess it up early, so we can have a nice, comfortable game.
Awesome. Well, best of luck to you and the team. Back to you guys.
All right, a comfortable game where no one invades you, you win all your lanes, and you're never down in gold. That's the hope.
That's a good game.
Yeah, you know.
Why aren't my games all like that?
You know, I don't know. It's because I'm jungling Karthus ignoring your lane.
That's true.
We played earlier today.
And also because I'm maybe inting to my lane opponent.
Maybe because you're, we don't want to get into
Maybe both.
Maybe both. Your armor runes are really good against Silas.
That's true. All right, so a couple cool things to know. Obviously, phase rush on both mid laners here. I do think this is an especially smart choice for Pobelter when you're going up against Trundle plus Cassio, 2 champions that rely heavily on those slows. Trundle, you talked about the reliability of the pillar, but, you pillar this person, you start running at them, auto, Q, W, phase rush procced, and he can just kind of run straight out. Miasma also is a very heavy slow, so this is going to allow Pobelter, I think, to feel pretty safe in his ability to escape ganks.
I want to put out a really, really small thing Xmithie did that I enjoy a lot. He waited till after the auto and then Q reset to cast his W. Generally speaking, your auto attack reset actual attack speed gains are very, very small. You don't tend to actually save that much time. So wait till after he's done with that to put the attack speed buff down, because Gromp takes so long to kill anyway. He actually probably saves a good quarter second or so off the camp by doing it in that order.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting. It's also, you will have taken a little bit of damage, so you can maybe get more out of the regen on that W there too. Small thing, but does make a difference. And it looks like now he is just going to try to go for a wraparound gank on mid lane here.
Already free, easy, pillar gonna land. There's the auto QW, and he just runs right backwards. Phase rush, and without that, probably has to burn flash.
Yeah, I would think he definitely does. Either way though, good gank, right? You take what is a losing matchup, and that's half the health off of that lane opponent there. So what is supposed to be a winning matchup for Pobelter can become equalized or even become a losing matchup just with that one little gank.
As everything goes down, Wiggily is technically up at camp right now. Looking out of the top side is Camille is pushing in, and if Ruin can land the skill shots, could look nice. I like this warp position though. It's going to spot Wiggily right now. And look at sOAZ running backwards. Now this could be a freeze though. This can actually deny sOAZ some farm.
Exactly. This is one of those really awkward situations where you're not supposed to agree to walk up to the wave, but you're not sure. Is the jungler still there? And Wiggily actually canceled his base.
Oh, gets to get in front of the stun right here. As it's a 3v2. Big stun comes across. Flash get away, but now Trundle is here as well. The chase down means first blood double buffs, and now Ruin has to flash away. Mid-jungle roamed up, and Pobe did not answer.
Yeah, that was fantastic from Immortals. That's such an awkward position to be in as a top laner, because if you don't step up to the wave, your wave will get frozen, and you can be in a lot of trouble. So they roam up. Wiggily actually canceled his base, not realizing that Eika and Xmithie were on their way up there, so ends up being the first blood for them. They could have just actually finished this base, but yeah, just didn't realize that Eika would be up here. Perhaps thought he was just going to have walked back to base, you know, recalled and reset there, as he was missing. Either way, first blood for Eika. Double buffs on him also is going to be a really big deal there early on against Pobelter.
Oh, we're looking for more on the bottom side. One more auto with stun, and he's just out of range. Smoothie did not want to commit the flash to stun Hakuho. Thought there wouldn't be enough follow-through anyway. And maybe he's right, but it's Immortals with a 1,000 gold lead off of a great roam to the top side of the map. Eika not even down farm after all that play. Now Wiggily has to be respectful. I mean, there's a couple of wards on him, but Apollo and Hakuho back together, feeling safe.
Yeah, anytime you can actually get a really nice first recall like that, where you get your full completed tier, you're going to be feeling really, really happy. And it does alleviate most of your mana issues as Cassio, who is a very, very mana-hungry champion. So earlier you can get that stacking up, going to feel really good. And also that Seraph's completion does change your ability to team fight very heavily. You know, you are kind of like a mid-range style of champion. You do have to be in range of damage really to get the most damage out. Which does mean that shield can be very, very useful.
Right now, bottom lane pushing heavily on the Immortals side. Pretty much just hitting W, autoing everything, trying to play around the love taps. And now Pobelter getting chunked heavily. Does dodge a Q. That was crucial. There's still so much damage coming in. Nearly gets the solo kill from Eika, but Pob gets to hold his flash.
Yeah, that is actually crazy how much damage he got there. The double buffs allow him to really spam it out. He didn't even hit a Q to start that trade. That was purely E-spam on a non-poison target, and he almost killed him. So it does show you the power of all of that additional mana that he has with the tier and that blue buff, and it's going to be the teleport forced out here from Pobelter, where Eika should just be able to get an easy reset after this dragon, potentially.
And he's fainting again. He's like, hey, am I going to come down? Am I recalling? Am I staying to make sure Xmithie's safe? And right now it's make sure Xmithie's safe. A small part of that trade as well was the 30 move speed advantage he had from the passive. Pob didn't have boots yet, so just innately Eika runs faster, and this is going to look really good. Both solos on the Immortal side, feeling very comfortable. A pretty quick Drake coming down as well. Level 4 Trundle having no problems at all, soloing that one out. And Immortals are looking awesome in this early game.
Yeah, something else we haven't really touched on is the fact that Misfortune did bring teleport. This is a nod to the fact that you're laning against an Ezreal, who you don't expect to have a tremendous amount of pressure in the early stages, and most Ezreals these days do take TP to have priority in lane, to be able to get a really good base, come back and keep you shoved in and dominate the lane in that way. So because it's going to be a relatively passive lane, Apollo didn't feel he needed to bring heal, and he can just kind of match teleport for teleport and keep lane pressure up himself.
Gonna get shoved in. Pobelter grabs that farm, but it's a 5 CS lead plus the kill, putting the early laning stats awesome here for Eika as Xmithie now looks for this blue buff steal. Control ward comes down, gets rid of the vision, and now Wiggily can try to for a smite fight. They are equal level, and the smite goes through to Xmithie. Nicely done. Shotgun pulls him back in though. The stun over the top. He's on level 5, and Pobelter grabs that kill. Says, thanks for the blue leash, buddy.
Very nicely done there. Do lock down Xmithie, who didn't have flash from that top lane fight, so that is critical. They knew he was missing that summoner. He was not level 6 to be able to ult Wiggily and stay alive. So the collapse comes through, and they do punish him with that kill, getting Pobelter right back into this lane, and with the blue buff.
All right. To be fair, it's supposed to be his blue buff in the first place, so it's not, you know, it's a little bittersweet, but it's 100 gold missing. He could have gotten the last hit. Would have been nice. But the kill comes in, puts the game a little bit closer there. Mountain Drake Force is stacking up. We can watch that fight yet again.
Yeah, so here it is one more time. There is 4 members of Immortals, so they feel pretty happy to take this fight, but the Shockwave pulls him back. And because of the positioning, this is really the key thing here. There's no way for them to kind of walk past that ball right there. So, you know, once Immortals has exited that choke point, they can't really re-enter without taking so much poke from Ezreal, who was over the side, and the Orianna ball in that middle there. So, despite the fact that if it was in an open area, they could have potentially just taken the 4v4. Positioning dictated that fight. CLG come out on top.
Xmithie, undeterred, respawns, runs back up at the top lane, or the top jungle, I should say, and steals away the red buff. So that's 2 camps taken away, even if one was sort of returned, as poor Wiggily can only take his chickens and kind of wait around, hoping that the next camp will hatch soon.
I think Xmithie has had an excellent game. He's multiple times been to that mid lane to help out Eika in what would be a difficult matchup, chunking out Pobelter twice, getting those ganks off on the top side, pressuring the buffs. This is what you want to see from your jungler when you have a preferential jungle matchup, and he's really checking all the boxes for me thus far.
mid CS difference slowly encroaching, as it's now only -3 here for Pobelter. Eika still has been able to push him out of lane a couple of times, and now with the mid pressure that he's got, looks like top lane Herald going to go over. Of course, top being pushed in by sOAZ. Doesn't have the farm lead for himself, but the extra assist, of course, matters. Xmithie grabs a pretty early Rift Herald, and we'll see that summon soon to knock down 2 or 3 plates.
Yeah, I'm interested to see where he's going to commit it. Traditionally, when you have these kind of side lane 1v1 style matchups with the Camille, you would want to actually drop Herald there and try to get Camille ahead of Aatrox to the point where she can start winning that 1v1. But you know, Eika has been the focus of a lot of his attention so far this game, and taking away that bastion of safety that is that mid lane turret from Pobelter could be pretty big too. So he does have a couple of options there for himself.
Right now, Immortals hard pushing on the bottom side. Hakuho, a little bit too far left. It's okay, it's fine. He's all right there as the wave gets shoved in. Of course, MF with the BF sword. Pretty incredible wave clear overall. Ulti committed by Ezreal to slow this one down, but there's still the chance of the push. Xmithie wants the attack speed, but has to be respectful. Still goes for the summon. Now this is going to be... Generally it's going to land. Apollo feels safe to just keep auto-attacking the turrets, or attacking the minion wave at the very least, and that should mean some gold. I don't think Apollo was able to attack that turret though, so he backs off. Only Xmithie gets the gold. But he feels safe. He walks up. 120 goes to him. Nicely done.
Yeah, I've got to say I'm a little bit surprised at how early they actually dropped that. You know, it's not to a turret that was already going to die from it. They do drop it. They get a little bit of gold in the pockets of Apollo, which is nice. But, you know, when you have a lot of time left on it, and potentially a dragon fight could be coming up around 30 seconds, sometimes dropping that, you know, more close to the dragon can get you a little bit of additional pressure and guarantee that. Yeah. And also, I think that you can be a little bit more impatient to see if there's an opportunity to maybe get a kill and then drop it and take a turret.
Yeah, I actually wonder. I would be sort of curious to see the exact thought process behind that play, because I can see, like, there's points to doing it, like, hey, you get your trinket back, so you can sweep some wards out, and maybe they just really wanted to reset as the ult comes in to dodge some damage. Ruin fighting back pretty handily, as sOAZ kites back away, and they trade ult for ult, but Ruin feels pretty healthy here. Yeah, Ruin's going to be feeling pretty good. One of the key things about any all-in as Camille into Aatrox, you generally want to use your ultimate on the Q3 from Aatrox. sOAZ did not do that. He wanted to actually use it as he's going to be pulled back in to that Q2. Really small window. Immortals are coming over, but the smite should come down. Almost. Okay, that was a little scary. It comes through, though. Nice hook, though. They might find Wiggily there for some damage. When's the ult get committed for Trundle? Not just yet, though. Finally puts in some bullet time damage. Wiggily cutting off the left-hand side. No way out for him. Drake secured by CLG, but a kill goes back over to Immortals. Yeah, I think he'll take it as CLG, though. We'll have to see how much more Immortals can get. Because that bottom lane turret is low and they got a kill, they might be able to finish that off, but Apollo does not really have any mana left, so would be a bit risky to go for. Gotta say, I'm a bit surprised that Immortals wasn't in position to actually fight for that, though. You know, you have winning bot, winning mid, winning jungle right now, and you lost the dragon. Yeah. Yeah, I think they just took probably slightly too late of a reset. We knew that as we were talking about the end of the Herald play, that it was like 35 seconds on Drake spawn, and it took slightly late recalls, couldn't get back on the map, and CLG snuck it. Yeah, they were able to sneak this out, just straight up rushed it pretty much on spawn. You can see Paulo and Hakuho Xmithie, they're trying to place this slow because you have Eika way over here, right? Eika is just now joining that team fight, and they are able to win that eventual fight, but because of that late recall, because of the late reset, they do give over a dragon, which is going to push back potential soul win condition. And this is a really, really powerful soul. Getting that ocean dragon, you know, you grab that ocean soul and very likely you just win the game. So, does keep CLG, you know, even in that regard. Sure, and the game's in striking distance, of course, right? 600 gold difference for the teams. At this point, really, it's any team's game to go for soul, go for map control, try to take things over. I know in Champ Select we talked about Immortals having probably a slightly stronger 5-on-5. Still agree that's probably true as the Cassiopeia is farming up. The stacks towards Seraphs are getting most of the way done. 460 of 750. Yeah. Yeah, I think you expect them to be able to win side lane with Camille eventually. You'll be able to win 5v5. So it does come down to execution from CLG. It's not so one-sided that CLG couldn't win in those areas, but it is enough of an advantage that's worth noting. And Immortals going to move their bot lane up top. You can see it's actually Pobelter down on that bottom side. He's going to be answering in that 1v1. And they have moved Stixxay and Smoothie towards mid lane, but they are now actually going to be roaming up. You can see the three-man squad here from CLG trying to get up there to keep that tower alive. Yeah, nice little play topside. 2 plates were taken out. Of course, the bottom lane uncontested as Pobelter should have been grabbing probably two plates himself, and indeed has done so. sOAZ not going to feel comfortable in this matchup. He does not have magic resist, and Pobelter, a single auto almost kills him! Almost a solo kill for CLG's new returning mid laner.
Yeah, really good amount of pressure, and this is going to mean sOAZ down his flash, and also down even more farm. He's falling pretty significantly behind all the other solo laners in the game, right? You know, he had to make that rotation. Now he's going to TP up top to try to make this dive out.
He's over it. Xmithie's still going to chase down the Q slow. It's actually everybody. Ult coming over. Goodbye to Ruin. He's definitely going to die to this one as 4 members come up to dive him down. But bot turret is taking damage, and mid can be pushed in by CLG.
Yeah, they do get him, but it's a lot committed. And Pobelter, we'll see who gets this tower first. It does look like it will be that top side. CLG will be pretty close in taking this one down, but it is first turret. Actually, wow. It is actually over to Pobelter. So all of those members basing on the side of Immortals, if one extra member stayed, they could have claimed that first turret gold for themselves. Instead, they prioritized the recalls, thinking maybe they had it anyway.
Maybe so. Big gold swing coming out from some solo plays out of Pobelter, right? Shoves sOAZ out of the lane, makes him recall, makes him flash. He TP's topside. And that turret was almost full HP when Pobelter started, right?
Yeah.
He got the first 2 plates himself, got it to half, sOAZ got the rest of it all during that topside dive. I don't blame Ruin for dying. It's a 4v1 of the bunch of ults committed, but end of the day, CLG coming out pretty close in this game. You can see it's still within 500, and now a fight over the Rift Herald, number 2.
Yeah, but again, it is CLG faster to the scene. Don't think that they can just rush this one down, though. Eika is back.
This is a 5v4, and CLG has Shockwave. This fight should look pretty good. Stun comes over the top. Stixxay finds the kill into Hakuho, and Xmithie now being stunned yet again, burns the flash. Ult from Eika buys a bit of space, but now that's a stun onto Xmithie, sOAZ just now arriving to the fight, but it's 3 versus 5. Eika flashes to the wrong side of the map, and CLG get a 3 for nothing.
Yeah, CLG able to take that. Immortals.
Woo, okay, that's a spicy one. That's sOAZ setting up that kill. The shield comes up. Ruin might want to re-engage. Can't quite do it. 3 for 1 to take it back.
Yeah, they do get that kill over onto sOAZ. Critical to get something back there, but, you know, Immortals, they wanted to be in the area to try to slow play it, I think, a little bit more, but CLG do get them to take this fight. 5v4, they get the Herald, they get 3 additional kills. So CLG coming way out on top in that one.
Hakuho ran really far forward. He dropped very early on into that fight, and the re-engage looked good, as we mentioned. sOAZ could not get to that fight in time. Immortals too close.
Yeah, I mean, this is multiple objectives in a row now that Immortals really just haven't been prepared for, right? They had, you know, full priority on that bot side, lost the dragon, then they try to opt into fighting for this Rift Herald without their top laner in position. Ruin had actually just walked, didn't even need to expend the teleport, and that goes the way of CLG also. So CLG just straight up outplaying them at these objectives.
Gonna find some damage here as they fight back and forth. Shockwave, nice immune by Hakuho. Now how about the re-engage? Ruin finds some backline damage. Knockup, very taking Trundle, still goes down. Smoothie has been dropped. Now the re-engage with Hakuho finds a stun. Stopwatch bird, Eika, he finds his stun. Gets 1, gets 2, picked up kills for Apollo.
Yeah, they're going to knock multiple members down there. Meanwhile, the Rift Herald did take mid lane tower, so that has been knocked down. And CLG have priority on the dragon, so kills traded back by Eika, but they lose their mid lane tower. They will lose the dragon here. Second one going to CLG. That is 3 straight objectives. Playing very well around these for the past 5-10 minutes.
Yeah, good job by CLG, making it, I would, by the way, not call this terribly comfortable. It's neck and neck, it's back and forth, but CLG are navigating it.
Yeah, so here's the engage. Hakuho just jumping over onto Smoothie. Eika is much further away, though, so CLG do have priority on the initial start of the fight. You can see them chasing him down. Xmithie not in range of Wiggily critically for his ultimate there, so he actually had to use the ultimate on Ruin. Not going to be able to steal nearly as much as far as the health and defensive stats are concerned there. Eika, though, does get a nice stun onto Ruin, and Smoothie was sectioned off by that miasma, so we'll be able to knock him down.
We go back on the map, and look at how close this game is. 500 gold separating. Of course, stay tuned every day if Monday Night League ends with the Bud Light League Lounge, Twitch.tv/Bud Light, which Crumbs will be hosting. So stay tuned for that. That'll be exciting.
Yeah, I believe we have Huni and Froggen alongside Crumbs and Ovally there, so that should be a lot of fun.
And a lot of fun is also this game. CLG fans, I think it's time to regain the faith a little bit.
Ooh, now they're going to...
I know. Well, I know. It's truly counterlogic in that way, but I don't think they've ever had a weekend looking remotely as good as this. this year, I
this
say.
split. This split.
Yes,
for
of course,
sure.
of course, of course. They won the LCS before.
Yeah.
That was a really good weekend for CLG fans. Both of the times they won.
And in summer, they were looking really strong,
Yeah.
right? People were very
got
excited coming into this split for CLG. It was supposed to be upgrades in the mid lane, you know, upgrades as far as their communication with their support, and it just hasn't worked out thus far, so they have had to pivot.
Yep.
Looking towards Pobelter here, and the team has looked much better thus far with Pobelter, though. It's only their 4th game with him, potentially looking to pick up a 2nd win.
Yeah, and when half the league is 50% win rate, and if they do win this game, then Pobelter with CLG is also 50% win rate. That's shaping up pretty well. Now, to talk about Pob a little bit longer, he's been one of the really heavy split pushers this game. You can see he has the most farm in the game. He was highest level in the game. He has really dedicated himself to playing side lane and getting a lot of farm for himself, and that's generally paid forward well.
Yeah, and what's interesting about that is most people would consider Eika on this Cassio the one who would be more comfortable in the side lane. Orianna traditionally not really much of a side laner in general. Cassio generally more comfortable to play that sort of a role, but I think partially due to the champions in the game, Pobelter is feeling more comfortable to do it. Unless Hakuho is there, or they have some sort of hard crowd control, mid plus jungle probably can't lock him down because they don't have that hard CC, really, unless he kind of face checks into an ultimate there from Eika, so Pobelter can always just kind of run away if Trundle shows up alongside the Cassio.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting perspective on how this game's going to go. If Xmithie does gank Pob, he has to dodge QWE. If he dodges that, the slow sticks and he gets a lot of damage and the Cassio can follow up. If he gets tagged by 3 spells, he just zooms on past the pillar with all the slow resistant move speed. So look for dodging skill shots if there is ever a gank on Pobelter side laning, because he is doing so much side laning. He is like the primary turret killer on this team at this point. You can see top outer being attacked. Smoothie comes over with the squad to knock down some wards, and just alone time sitting there autoing.
Yeah, I mean, just no one is answering him, right? And it was supposed to be Immortals with this Camille that had the side lane advantage. They are definitely not winning in the side lanes at all. Pobelter is 2 levels up on Eika, and that's, you know, at least a full level and a half of experience, because you know, it's relatively recent that Eika actually even hit 12. He's been spending a lot more time grouping, has not been able to match, is now down 50 CS as a result, is now down 2 levels as a result.
Yep.
And despite all of the attention that Xmithie actually paid toward that mid lane early on, Pobelter has found a way to really create a fairly sizable advantage for himself here. He's now 1,500 gold ahead of his lane opponent.
Well, Banshee's Veil is done for Eika. It's going to feel really good on the 1v1 as a Void Staff comes through for Pobelter. Haven't finished all the math I want to do just yet, but if you are hitting a bunch of frontline, like a Trundle, like a Nautilus who's going Stoneplate, that is actually the optimal second item for damage. If you care about shielding, or if you care about backline killing, then yeah, you want to go Oblivion Orb or even a Death Cap, but if you are just killing this tanky Trundle, yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah, I think it's pretty smart. You know, Banshee's Veil has been picked up. You can already see Negatron on multiple members, double Merc Treads on those frontliners too. So quite a bit of MR already being grabbed, and Pobelter knows he will at least have easy access to that front line. So if you're strong enough that you can actually just go frontline versus frontline and kind of win that race, it really does change things around pretty heavily for CLG as far as the team fighting goes. But this time, Immortals are first to that dragon scene.
Up in 8 seconds, slow. Pobelter's got to be a little bit careful. It gets away from Xmithie. Now the stun's going to come across. Eika flashes, and Apollo has about 12 health left, rounded up slightly. Walks away, heals up against these minions.
Yeah, what we see, it is priority again to CLG. They take control of mid lane, and he goes.
Stun, they caught Pobelter. Flash Whip is still caught out. That is a shutdown coming in. It'll be a trade kill, but that's a 1-for-1 that Immortals will take. Bulletin over the top. Xmithie flashing away to safe, but look at Ruin's health bar. Eika finds the kill, and the stun over the top as well. The Immortals squad picks up huge kills.
Yeah, the solo laners for Immortals, massive in that team fight. sOAZ with the hook shot into Flash, straight onto Pobelter, allowing him to take him down. Then Eika, tail end of that fight, catching Ruin and Stixxay, knocking them down. And with Cassio, you can just rush down this bear, and it will be a trade, as the dragon should be going over here to CLG. Xmithie's got to be a little bit careful. He's going to back out. Doesn't want to smite early for health, just in case they were coming to look for the potential fight. But now knowing that they are on that dragon, they will be able to do that and take the Baron for themselves.
TP committed just to make sure they can knock this one down, as Immortals are feeling a lot more comfortable off the team fight win, and the Baron picked up. CLG put themselves on Soul Point.
Yeah, they are on Soul Point, so let's watch this one more time. Immortals were quick to get to the dragon this time around, but CLG were playing for mid lane priority. Nice flash there from Eika, was able to avoid the initial engage from Wiggily, and then really it did come down to this engage from sOAZ. He's going to actually look for a pretty long-range engage as Pobelter is stepping forward here. sOAZ looks, hook shot flash does land there. That, in addition to the Nautilus ultimate coming over the top from Hakuho, was enough damage to actually knock down Pobelter. Then, kiting back into this corridor allowed Eika as well as Apollo to really kind of have free reign here. The bullet time across multiple members gets them low, and then Eika was able to step forward as a result and look to finish off that fight.
Nicely done. And so Immortals have turned the corner in this game, maybe. Well, their mid-games have been pretty solid. They've had some clutch decision-making, and you can see that gold swinging right back in their favor.
You know, while you are in a position of power right now with the Baron, CLG are far from out of this game because they are at soul point. It's by far the strongest soul, in my opinion. So this is one of those situations where, yes, you got the Baron, but unless you get a lot done with it, it's not actually that bad for CLG.
They can weather the storm. Right now, Ruin is hard split pushing up on the top side, and CLG are pressed to wave clear in mid. Mid outer yet to break. Look at the stun combo. Deletion onto Xmithie, but that pullback could be a lot. Ruin is there for the flank against Baron of 5v4. Can they find Eika? There's the knockup. There's the second. There's the chase down. The Ruin TP is magical here as Hakuho is running for dear life, and he doesn't have it anymore. CLG right back into the mid lane looking for more.
3 for 0 there. Great teleport flank from Ruin. sOAZ was in the side lane too, but he was not able to join. They're going to lose an inhibitor here, probably. Guaranteed inhibitor tower will go down. I think CLG will take the inhibitor.
Yeah. If they want it, they have it, right? You've got 20 seconds on Eika's respawn. You can see a pretty safe recall for Smoothie, but they know, hey, it's 5 versus 3 still. They committed Smoothie just in case. Okay, they don't need him. It's fine. Stixxay kills one last ward and walks away. Ruin's already committed the recall. He's safe down to that side of the map. Counter Logic Gaming have once again tied the gold. In 2.5 minutes till Ocean Soul.
CLG, just a much better setup on this fight. They do have this long-range ward over in the Raptor pit. Xmithie bursts down immediately. Wasn't able to even get his ultimate off there, so didn't gain any of those bonus stats. Then Ruin has already joined. The TP from sOAZ quite late, just now arrives as 3 members from his team, you know, the third one about to go down, so there's no chance for him to really continue fighting. I think at that point, if the TP is going to be that late, sOAZ should have just stayed in the side lane and tried to force people back to try to get an inhibitor tower or something there. He did eventually run back towards that bottom lane, but too little too late as CLG completely nullify the Baron. They are tied in gold. We are 2 minutes away from that potential soul point where I think scaling comps, all that just doesn't really matter anymore. When you have the Ocean Soul over your opponents,
yeah, I mean, Ocean Soul is
so durable.
Yes, I mean, Ocean Soul is like literally health per second, right? It's certainly Cassiopeia will out DPS that region in general. You're not functionally invincible, but I mean, it essentially just adds stats, right? I mean, that's literally what they all do is they just add stats straight up, and yeah, it's worth a whole bunch of gold overall, and will tend to look pretty good for them.
Yeah, and it just means any sort of remotely close fight becomes not close anymore, right? So CLG have been looking very good. You know, I was worried a little bit for them as far as the 5v5s would look, but CLG has been better prepared for them. They seem to be the ones actually finding the engages. They are utilizing that better. They are, you know, grouped as a 5-man squad more frequently, and it feels like anytime Immortals is going to the side lane, they're being punished for it, where CLG is unable to do, you know, have the opposite happen to them, basically.
Right, yeah, CLG said that he's been very good. Their TP flanks or just the solo push have been looking very good. Keep in mind, we are 1 minute from the Drake. That is the moniker, or that is the time that says, hey, hit your recall, buy your items, put your wards. CLG's got 7 in inventory right now. Shame on Pobe for having the Doran's Ring still instead of a control ward, but end of the day, it's, hey, get back on the map, get ready to push for this. Soul Point is a must defend, and Ruin doesn't have TP. That dude needs to get to the side of the map, or I don't think it's contestable.
Yeah, this is really strange if they're going to be willing to give this up. I think he will be running down, just finishing that wave, but strange to see him that far up towards that top lane. It's just really not that important at this point in the game. When you're one off Soul, you need to be here and be ready for this fight because this could be it. He will be able to join up with his team though as they do fight for mid lane priority. sOAZ
done onto Xmithie, ult over the top, bullet time not yet used. So that is an ulti now missing on the one side. That's CLG with one less engage tool. And the poke not really mattering much either, though to be fair, Xmithie also burned his ulti. So that's probably a decent trade. As Ruin found out by sOAZ, how about the re-engage? Blast Cone back away. Immortals, though, have ward control. It's mostly fog for them. A bit of poke there from Pobelter. Mid control.
I think I actually take that trade if I'm CLG. Trundle not having his ultimate makes him so much easier to kill.
Oh, great pillar. Great pillar. Wiggily could not get over, didn't have flash, was not willing to commit the Q. So a good pillar by Xmithie grabs that Ocean Drake and delays that game plan from CLG.
Yeah, you can see though, CLG is just going to head up towards that Baron area potentially, try to get some vision. That is going to be spawning here very, very quickly. But delaying the soul, really big deal here for Immortals. Gives themselves some more time to potentially gain an advantage in the side lane, especially where, you know, we really just haven't gotten much done from sOAZ, it feels like, you know, in this side lane this game whatsoever. He has had a little bit of pressure, and I do think we're seeing Ruin kind of group more often as a result of how that potential 1v1 might go, but whether it's due to the vision or the fact that CLG is actually just forcing these fights very well. sOAZ has not really been pressuring objectives in the side lane, has not been taking down towers, so not too much to worry about for CLG.
Yeah, so far in the mid lane, still over half HP as well. Baron's back on the map. Immortals have their own share of now health regen with the Ocean Drake they had picked up just a minute ago. A little bit of poke there. Xmithie again, shockwave back. Pop stone plate, they find that stun. Ulti comes in, but he will not go down. Bullet time over the top. Hakuho is low. Here comes the re-engage. sOAZ finds the backline. Look for Pobelter, but the team comes back to stop him. Ruin flashes forward. 5 versus 3. Xmithie does not have a way out, and there's only 2 members left of Immortals. The name, bit of a misnomer here.
I think all Smoothie has to do is delay the recalls, and they could potentially end through mid lane.
TP being spent to save Smoothie says, where are you? I don't know.
Doesn't have ultimate.
Teleport itself was used, but Apollo might go down to Ruin. He tries to kite away from the Aatrox. So a 4, actually 3 versus 1 in the mid lane as 2 versus 1 chases up to the top. Mid lane under fire. We're watching Apollo come down the flash Q. That should be a kill picked up. But of course, keep in mind, mid is under fire as well. Apollo will drop with a 1-for-1 as Eika cannot defend it, but he killed the minion wave. That was the crucial bit. Here comes a second wave, but it's enough time for 2 to respawn. So Eika's heroics kept the base alive, but it means Baron is almost always CLG's.
Yeah, CLG should be able to take this easy peasy. Xmithie back in base, has no flash. Hard to see how Trundle would get into the pit here to steal without just giving away his life. So should be a CLG Baron. They win another team fight here. Again, just quicker to the punch, utilizing their engage better. It always feels like it is Wiggily starting the fights. It has not been Hakuho finding the picks. It has not been Immortals pressing the issue. And we're seeing Xmithie just forced out of the fights almost immediately. Pobelter has been pretty proactive, utilizing these ultimates. You know, actually starting this one off. He does have a Death Cap, Void Staff, a lot of frontline damage. Xmithie barely surviving as he gets a huge ultimate there off. Healing right back up. Hakuho, though, sectioned off on the side. Eika looks for the flash forward, but not really able to connect on too many people with that ultimate. And Apollo getting zoned out. The worst positioning here for Immortals as they are in that concave. They're kind of trying to come out of this little choke with Orianna ball in front of them. So Pobelter, another great fight from him. Yeah, starts it off and just kind of keeps the Immortals backline zoned out. This is not how Immortals pictured these team fights looking.
And sOAZ got it close, right? He came so close to actually killing a Pobelter, setting up the dive like he had the last time in the mid lane, as again there's a flash forward. This time it's on to Stixxay, who doesn't have a good way out, and the sOAZ kill does come through. Those are the plays he's been looking for, but how about this re-engage? How about the pillar over the top? How about the resistance is being shredded as Smoothie can slowly try to run? Pobelter's here for a bit of a play. Stun's not quick on a land. Xmithie tanky, gets the ult up on top as well. And the bullet time and the anchor means a kill comes through. sOAZ still on the chase. Might find another on a Wiggily. Immortals are not done here. And sOAZ will not be stopped. A stun buys a second, but they're still going to get the kill picked up. And sOAZ's heroics are rewarded. 3 dead on CLG, and Immortals look to push mid.
sOAZ grouping with the team and making huge things happen for them as he gets the shutdown onto Stixxay. Then Pobelter losing track of where Hakuho was in that bush. He's going to get hooked up, and this push will continue. Pobelter not up for 25 more seconds. They are going to be going for it. Look at the position. They're just trying to end the game.
They're trying. They got 15 seconds on Pobelter. The rest of the team is alive. It's 5 versus 3. That seems defendable, but the question is, how good is the engage? Yeah, no ulti up for sOAZ. They clear the wave. 25 seconds on Ocean Soul. CLG barely spawns in time. but it also means Immortals can't spend the gold they just earned. They've got like 3K on sOAZ, 2K on the Misfortune, 1,500 on Eika. A lot of this gold difference that Immortals have basically tied up is not spent. CLG's inventories are better.
Yeah, that's a big deal. sOAZ can go back because he has his teleport. Apollo could also, but they don't actually have a pink or a sweeper in this area, so full vision on them right now from CLG, and the deep teleport is spotted. sOAZ is ulted.
That's a stun. He does have his ult, does not have flash. The Drake goes over, and sOAZ jumps over the wall to safety. Wiggily can't catch him out. But sOAZ, does he have the great escape? Yeah, no problem. He's super fast right there. So 3 Drakes apiece. Immortals off the back of that fight. And a heroic sOAZ TP, honestly, puts up CLG enough.
Yeah.
Still trying.
We'll see where sOAZ is going to go. I feel like he could have just kept running to the left side of the map. Should be spotted here shortly by Stixxay.
Stixxay shall see him.
I think he's going to die now eventually, unfortunately for him.
That's a stun, though. This could be decent damage. You got to kite this. Ult comes down. Big hits come across, but that's going to be Guardian Angel. And the actual death as well. Stixxay can easily kite this away. That's the damage coming in, and that's a pretty long death time right now. No major neutrals are up right now.
Yeah.
But it's still about a minute for Suzu to play with.
Immortals have got to be pretty careful. You know, I would have liked to see them actually keep their 4-man squad out on the map and threaten a bot lane push while you have sOAZ running up towards that top side. Because if CLG are going to commit their whole team to chasing him down, you want to offer threat on the other side of the map to either get something for the death or dissuade all the CLG members from chasing and potentially give an exit route there for sOAZ. At the very least, CLG do get that kill. They do get the GA off, which is a big deal. And both teams now at soul point as CLG has been unable to capture that 4th dragon in back-to-back spawns. So feels like it's all going to come down to this next dragon. And, you know, CLG, that's kind of the win condition they are depending on. Immortals have been grouped for these last couple of fights, and when they are together, it is looking pretty good.
Apollo has certainly come online. Upgrades Last Whisper up to Immortal Reminder. Healing Reduction, of course, can be quite valuable when you've got double lifesteal on the Ezreal. And I'm going to double check if Pobelter has some lifesteal. Yeah, he's got 4 stacks on the Ravenous Hunter.
It's worth noting there's also no healing debuff whatsoever for Trundle. So Trundle actually, you know, does have a massive amount of healing from that ultimate when you are using it on a big beefy tank like the Sejuani. And we have seen that in a couple fights be a pretty big deal, right? There's no executioners picked up on Stixxay or on the Aatrox or anything like that. They don't even have any Ignite. So they have no way whatsoever to actually mitigate all the healing that is going to be coming out of Xmithie, out of Eika, and Apollo.
Exactly. Eika's got 5 stacks of Ravenous. Apollo has obviously the Bloodthirster in the inventory, and the Ravenous Hydra on sOAZ means, yeah, this is a lot of regen, and Ocean's Soul is going to someone in 2.5 minutes. Whichever team wins the smite is going to get that soul. These items are sticking up, and there's only really 1 slot left for most of these players. Immortal still feeling comfortable in the mid lane. 45 seconds on Baron, and mid-inhib has respawned for Immortals.
So there's a purchase I really want to point out here. It's a pretty big deal. The Mikhails coming through for Hakuho is going to allow Xmithie to have a lot more safety to frontline and actually just tank that Sejuani ultimate. We have seen CLG win a couple of fights just purely off of landing that Sej ulti on Xmithie and bursting him down sometimes before he can even get the ult off. That's not going to be possible anymore here as long as Hakuho can use that item well.
Oh, Hakuho gets away with it. Gets the self-casts cleanse and stays safe.
Well, they're TPing for a potential base race here.
They're going to the bottom side. Now, Ruin is there, but they have sent Eika. So the question is, how well can CLG play this? There's a couple. Ruin does not have a Guardian Angel. He's got to try to knock these down, but there comes the dive. This could be a lot of damage. Ezreal misses the minions, but Eika runs forward for the fight. Here comes the TP in the backside there as well. Ruin's trying to run. He's still decaying the health bar. Flash to safety, and now Smoothie is there. Stixxay on the chase. sOAZ not going to be stunned just yet. And on the bottom side, a Blast Cone gets Wiggily to safety. sOAZ, an E would kill him, the auto. But that's got to be a kill, right? There's no way sOAZ lives through this when the stun doesn't mean anything. But the Ocean Dragon was spawning in 1 minute. We're still not there just yet.
He's going to go for Baron. They're actually double TPing here to collapse, potentially on Immortals. Ruin is very deep over in enemy territory now.
5v4. Sejuani ult up pretty soon. Pobelter, by the way, did die during this. It is a 4v4. They traded different solo laners. So this is the play now towards this side of the map. Without Orianna, Immortals feels safe. The flash Q4, they find the tank. Hakuho, very durable on the front side. Ult over the top. 4v4 looking good, though, as they chase in. Wiggily chunked out so very low. Now Ruin walks in, looks for Eika. Eika flashes over, finds not the stun on Stixxay, but Stixxay can't fire back. And Ruin is now alone against the entirety of Immortals, and that kill comes over. Ezreal only gets a bit of damage, and Immortals get a 2-for-1 long term. The respawns have come in, though. Pobelter is the first one back, sOAZ still dead. 4v4 in the map.
Yeah, and they've got to reset potentially if they want to be ready for this Soul. It's up in 15 seconds here, but they are worried about a potential enemy Baron rush, so Immortals staying out on the map here. Eika not able to go back to base, and CLG, they're going to be at the Dragon Pit while Immortals is still over on that other side and could potentially get zoned out here by Pobelter, so Immortals a little bit slow to the scene, but now with the 5v4, Immortals can take priority in the area.
25 seconds and no teleport. Immortals almost assuredly win this fight. I don't see how CLG gets a battle off of this when the ultis are all up on Immortals. And off of that Pobelter pick, and then the kill on the Ruin, the coordination in that late game team fight, that means Ocean Soul goes over, and CLG absolutely needs Grievous Wounds.
Yeah, that means that the healing debuffs are so much more important. There's a ton across the map now. Triple Ocean Dragon that is going to be regenerating during combat, plus the Ocean Soul buff that will be healing them throughout the fight, and all of the lifesteal and spell vamp on these characters means CLG absolutely must have that, I feel like, to really be able to win a fight. Unless you can just instantly 100-0 someone, these characters are going to be healing right back up to full.
Ocean Soul is going to be roughly 50 health per second per champion in a team fight. Now, if you can... Right, that's the math, right? So that's going to be the deduction to your damage per second, and you got to make sure you get through that.
And then also 7.5% of your health from the 3 Ocean Dragons on top of that, every 5, right? So that's adding in. It does become really, really a big deal, especially that flat percent of HP on a very tanky target, such as Xmithie.
Percent missing health. If you get him low, he gets right back up before too terribly long. We'll see sOAZ splitting the top side. Does have every spell available. Guardian Angel, I believe, even back up as well. As CLG make their way top side. Pobelter makes a trip towards the right side of the jungle. Looks for the blue buff, grabs it, comes back over. Top lane turret goes down. sOAZ is safe. Here comes the re-engage as Immortals look toward this Baron buff. There's the fight right on the top. Stun comes across again on its support. Smoothie drops a little bit low, but he's going to feel safe. Has the ulti still available. He's going to start regenning from the oceans.
Yep, he's regenning up. He did hold on to that ultimate, use the stone plate instead, and sOAZ is just pushing. He's actually gotten 1 inhibitor tower down. He's going to run away towards bot side. If they commit to this chase, then you're giving away the Baron.
And Xmithie, though, dropped a little bit low. Will there be some kind of a miracle steal as damage comes over the top? Pobelter nearly drops 3k HP. They will pick up 1. The smite steal for Wiggily. Plus the kill over the top. CLG suddenly have control, but Ruin has to stop sOAZ.
That was a game-changing play, though. The Baron recalls mean people are going to be back, and sOAZ is just going to get chased down here. He
didn't get over the wall, and the Randuin slow set it up, so sOAZ will lose Guardian Angel, and he will probably die now as well. 30 seconds on Hakuho. The kill comes over the top. CLG have lost an inhibitor, but they have a lot of map control.
What a steal from Wiggily there. That was massive for CLG. It looked like everything was going the way of Immortals. They decide to commit to this fight. Bullet time over the wall, getting Pobelter really, really low, but it's just Wiggily. Goes straight over. He had no vision in the pit. Just blind Q into the pit. Nails the smite. That has got to be very frustrating if you are Immortals, but worth the risk if you are CLG, because if they have Soul and grab that Baron, it feels like it's lights out for sure. So it's worth taking that chance, and Wiggily able to make a pay.
And as time moves on, we still have a 1,000 gold difference. CLG fighting against the Ocean Soul, but they've been unable to push any of the map down right now. So it's up in 12 seconds. And that Ocean Soul, right, it does not time out. That is a buff that will stick with Immortals throughout the game. So CLG kind of consistently now on the back foot here.
Definitely so. And if sOAZ wasn't already winning in the side lane, you really cannot ever win this 1v1 matchup into Ocean Soul. sOAZ will always out-heal the damage that Ruin is going to be able to do. So that becomes very, very difficult, but CLG do grab themselves a mid lane inhibitor, are heading down towards bot side. You can see sOAZ running up towards top lane though. So he wants to threaten the base. Ping's even going towards that down inhibitor. So sOAZ is going to look to threaten here on that top side, and if Baron does expire, you know, no potential Baron recall, that could get dangerous.
Well, you got a minute on that one right now. It's a 4-second-long recall with Baron buff on. They make the read. They saw sOAZ was clearing the waves out, and they should recall the entire squad, unwilling to take a TP flank.
I do like the pressure, though, that he did exert, because they probably would have lost this turret, potentially. You know, instead, sOAZ just runs up to the top side. CLG know they have to be able to defend this. They can't risk just losing their base to that split-pushing Camille, so multiple members go back.
Yep.
Means Immortals can defend that tier 2 tower on the bottom side. But we are still in an incredibly even game.
Well, it asks an interesting question as well. Of course, there's two different things that are affecting the map, right? One is CLG had Baron buff, and with Baron buff, CLG had to flinch and respect the sOAZ split push. The other, of course, is the dead inhibitor.
Yep.
That's helping a little, but in any case where sOAZ is split pushing on V0, inhibitor or not, he crushes the waves and gets, you know, to the base anyway. So if with a Baron buff, CLG is unwilling to try to take sort of a base race and let Ruin be in a 1v1 and push with the rest, then when does CLG feel comfortable to push for the base?
I mean, it's going to have to be some sort of a pick or a team fight win into a game ender, right? I just think this 1v1 is almost literally impossible for Aatrox against the Camille. If you know where all the other 4 members are of CLG and it's just Ruin, he has no healing debuff. You can just completely ignore him and heal through the damage that he's going to be able to do, I think, at this point with Triple Ocean plus Ocean Soul and the lifesteal already on this character. So that is a very difficult situation for CLG, where they know they're never going to win in the side lane. It has to be through something else. Him overextending and getting picked off by multiple members, or a great pick on another member of Immortals.
And it seems like right now CLG playing Fog of War. They kind of, the whole squad didn't show. They got to push for top lane tier 2, and sOAZ was like, have they recalled? They only actually showed Pobelter. Okay, I have to back up, let Ruin take this. And so if CLG can manipulate the map well, they can find those openings. I agree, the heads up 1-on-1 looks good, the heads up 5-on-5 looks good, but Fog of War and not knowing what you're running into can be a big deal.
Yeah, and CLG have been finding a way thus far. It is going to be about this Elder, though, spawning in a couple seconds here. Immortals trying to get mid lane priority. It is a little bit easier for CLG because they do have the inhibitor down, and they're going to run straight towards it. Will they just straight up commit to finishing this? This would be a risky 5v5 for CLG to opt into.
They got the last smite. The whole squad is here. sOAZ waiting around as well. 5-on-5 in the river. A poke battle favors Immortals for all the regen. Smoothie takes a shot.
And remember,
comes in.
If they wait too long for Immortals, the Super Minions are going to push in mid lane. So they're going to be getting their base threatened. So they have to make a move here. You can't just sit around.
Top lane time bomb. And CLG are forced to hit the dragon. They're forced to start this fight. When can they find the flank play? sOAZ walks in the front. Xmithie finds some decent damage. They are fighting off with Wiggily. A little bit of poke towards sOAZ. It's going to be up to CLG to play a little bit more aggressively as the time ticks down. The top wave, CLG's pinging it. They know it's getting more and more pressure onto it.
Ruin is going, so now they're going to be right back onto this Elder. CLG look like they're just deciding they've got to give it up.
Yep.
Wiggly's going to go backwards, and it will be the Elder Dragon here, barring a Miracle Seal, which will not come through.
I appreciate the effort, but it cannot be done, so well done. Immortals played the time correctly. Now the inhibit's back. Now it can be a more equal map state as mid pushes in, but that's just so much less threatening. It's a safe recall there for Immortals.
Yeah, Immortals had enough time to actually just ignore that mid wave and collect it before it does hit those Nexus towers. So Soul, Elder, this is about as strong as they're going to get, and they do have the Elder for when the Baron spawns. So they could potentially use it to just try to take that. Immortals has been a bit hesitant to try to march into the base. I mean, there's multiple open inhibitors here. I feel like you could just group 5, walk down mid lane, take that inhibitor, take the top lane inhibitor, and then utilize your split push to try to close out the game through bot lane. But Immortals has been very, very cautious. They are clearly worried about the 5v5, not feeling as confident that they will be able to win that.
I want to point out a couple of things that don't obviously show in the scoreboard. So despite the gold being equal across the teams, Ruin is done buying items. He's got 1,000 gold in inventory that really cannot be spent because he's already done building. sOAZ has a full half item to build. Eika, because of being Cassiopeia, has an item and a half still to build. They're going to keep scaling really nicely. They get to rush down the Baron with the Elder Dragon buff, making that basically uncontestable. And there's a huge power play for Immortals.
Yeah, they're going to be really strong. Really, the last key item for any of the carries for CLG is going to be that Morello that Pobelter is building. Even more important because of all the healing in this squad, as we've touched on a number of times. But Immortals, they have Elder, they have Baron, they have Soul. If you cannot close the game now, it's going to be pretty difficult to at any point.
This is your strongest point, Immortals. This is absolutely your strongest point. Only 40 seconds left of the Elder Dragon buff. That is enough to knock down top inhibitor. You can see 1,000 damage Q crits, 1,000 damage autos coming through for Apollo.
And they are splitting 3 lanes. They are actually going to be looking to pressure on all sides. We can see Camille down here on this bot side, top wave coming in, mid wave coming in. and they're going to look to try to spread out CLG. Both these inhibitors are going to be gone, and it's got to be CLG, I think, making a bit of a stand here at this third inhibitor.
15 seconds on Elder Dragon. CLG assuredly are waiting for that to time out before they pull the trigger, but it means double inhib down before that happens. Bot lane was cleared. 8 seconds on Elder. That's when CLG might turn around, but I think it should still be Immortals pushing to try to end it. Elder Dragon ending right now, and this is now the time when CLG would go in. There is indeed the stun. Damage on Xmithie, but it gets QSS right back out. Good job, Hakuho. Ult comes off, means mostly nothing. Turrets are now gone. CLG, are they willing to give up triple inhib? They shouldn't be, but they have to. Shockwave does not catch Apollo. Here comes the re-engage. Big damage coming over the top. sOAZ still has Guardian Angel and Wiggily. Almost chunked down now as well. Has Warmog, has a Fountain as well. And triple inhib is down. CLG not going to feel comfortable here. Pushed back to their base, and these turrets drop so very quickly. Immortals crack every turret, looking for the play. They can't find the fight. CLG still pushed back, and the kills are going to come in. Immortals going to pick a 3, make it 4, make it a hat trick as Immortals knocks down Counter Logic Gaming.
Immortals able to break that 4-game losing streak, taking down CLG in what was a very back and forth, very close game. Nearly 15 minutes on the clock there as they're able to close that one out, and CLG definitely made them work for it.
Yeah, that game was absolutely back and forth, and back and forth, and back and forth, and back and forth. Pobelter, I thought, had a lot of good shockwaves to keep CLG in it and find those picks. At the end of the day, Immortals played it better. sOAZ, I think, was a big hero that game. His scoreline didn't show it, but he was a big split push at the end of the game, and he found a lot of those backline dives that turned the fights up.
Yeah, I think that really was a big deal. You know, he didn't get as much done in that side lane, but a couple of critical engages around mid lane, his pick on Pobelter earlier in the game with the hookshot flash, and then later on catching Stixxay and getting that shut down. You know, those were some of the key moments that allowed them to start stacking these objectives, because it was CLG that was out to a 3-1 Dragon lead. It was CLG that was looking like they're going to be the ones grabbing the soul. Instead, it was Immortals who were able to kind of claw their way back in the objectives department, grab the Ocean Soul, and use that to kind of bolster the rest of their gameplay.
Right, you thought with that Wiggily Baron steal, like that was going to be the corner being turned, that CLG, you know, they found what they needed to do. They got the Baron, okay, it's time to siege, and CLG really never could quite break into the base. I think of one of the big moments being Eika dying to clear the way when CLG tried to end through mid way back at like 25 minutes in as we get that last fight again. Immortals is too powerful now.
Yeah, here's that Bud Light ace. They had the Elder expire, but they still had the Baron, they still had the Soul, and they're able to just pressure them from all sides. It's such an impossible situation when you're 3 inhibs down with the Baron minions coming in on all sides. You know you need to force a fight. They tried to do it. It was the initial engage from Sejuani over onto Xmithie, but I think a really smart purchase of the Mikhails by Hakuho shut down what was really the only reliable engage tool, it felt like, from CLG. You know, without those Sejuani ults, Xmithie can just walk in the front line, tank anything, and not worry about potentially getting burst down before ult came out.
Well done to Immortals.